So we cannot go through this life and say money is only evil. It is the yin and yang. It can be either or. I believe it's our duty. I believe it is what the universe and God wants us to do, is to flourish, to thrive. It has been said that money is the root of all evil. There is some truth to that, for sure. We can always follow the money trail and see where all sorts of evils in the world, how and where they exist. But money also is a tool for freedom. The more money you have, the more freedom you have. You can go visit places you want to see. You can go anywhere you want. You can have anything that you need. We want a lot of things, but we don't need them. But everything that you want, you can have with money. And I believe it's a horrible tragedy of this world that we have so much poverty, so much stress over money. Most people get divorced over money. Most spouses find their partner irritated or irritating whenever they have lost a job and they can't get one, or they do get one and it's not as good as the previous one, so their standard of living has gone down. That's a problem for a lot of people. I believe that the universe, God, the source, infinite intelligence, wants everyone to have exactly what they need. We can have all of the food abundance for everybody. It would be so easy. It would just require using our minds, using our resources, which includes money, to make that happen. Now we live, or supposedly quasi-live, in a capitalist society. And there's some problems with capitalist societies, and there's some obvious benefits, of course. The problem is that people become so wealthy, so controlling, so dominating, passing laws and getting around these things, doing all sorts of nefarious acts, and that in turn rolls into fascism, socialism, communism. Like, they all just end up tying into each other over time. It would be better than a utopia if everybody had what they needed. And I think we should view money and resources, how we exchange goods and services, very differently than we do today. That would be for another podcast, but stay with me for a second, because if we view money as an evil, then we're planting these negative seeds inside of the narrative that we tell ourselves. If we devote time, because each of us are our own niche, we all have something to offer besides only exchanging our time for $1. We have the ability to do things that we really love to do, is really what I'm saying, which is still changing time for $1. But you're doing it in such a way that you are enjoying what you're doing. There are ways to do that. Some of us find ourselves with a degree that we have to use this degree because that's what we spend all the time and money on, and that's what's paying the bills. We only have one life. So if we have to have currency, a medium of exchange, then we must do things to accumulate that currency. We must appreciate that our time is limited. Our only resource is time. And there are so many ways, so many avenues to explore, that you can be your own niche, to be able to sell whatever service, to be able to sell whatever good, whatever it is that you love to do. We all can figure that out for ourselves. It requires being aware. It requires us, just like in a previous video of talking about our mantras, it is the narrative that we tell ourselves. So we cannot go through this life and say, money is only evil. It is the yin and yang. It can be either or. I believe it's our duty. I believe it is what the universe and God wants us to do, is to flourish, to thrive, and to do so in a way that benefits ourselves. So then that spreads to our families, that spreads to our friends, that gives us the ability to help out others that are in need and they want a hand up and not a hand out. That allows and fosters better neighbors, better friends, and an entire better world if we are not suppressing and dumbing down and keeping people away from what we are meant to be. And that is a flourishing, self-aware, beautiful spirit that has the ability to not have to worry. And not only the ability, we have that now, but we actually put together a narrative and a life that allows us not to be stressed out over finance. It's a really difficult thing that many of us have found ourselves in many times in our life. Let's just think about that. Let's think about how you are your own niche. What you can tell yourself, what you can find and discover, to think about, to just ponder and dwell on. What can I do? Because there are thousands, millions of opportunities that if each of us just did something a little different, something that we really loved, something that just brought joy to ourselves, and we were able to interact in that way that allowed, because of those actions we love and enjoy, brought currency into our life, which is an exchange, which allows that currency to flow, to interact with our neighbors, our friends, the people that buy from us, the people that we serve, and allows us to be better people. And it allows a top on all of them. I'm not talking about a taxation top. I'm talking about a top ceiling that kind of prevents massive big corporations to dominate and control us all if we're all flourishing, if we all have our own businesses, if we are, some people just aren't business owners, that's fine, but work where and with people that you absolutely enjoy and that we're lifting each other up. Those things do exist. We get that a lot here with people coming to see us and talking to us. Well, how do I do that? How do I get out of this crappy job? How do I create the lifestyle that I want? It requires a lot of self-thought. Like, what do you enjoy? You have to think about it. I highly recommend writing down in your journal. If you don't have a journal, get one. They're vital. You have to know who you are, what you like, and what you can offer somebody else. Because we are also unique with our own experiences that we can bring to the table and provide something valuable for our friends and neighbors and for strangers that can become our friends or become our customers. Let's just have a takeaway of knowing in your darkest hours, of financial darkest hours, that there is a way, there is always a way. It may be difficult at first, it may be time consuming at first, but if you don't start, if you don't take the one step and one foot in front of the other, you'll never get to where you want to go. If you're just sitting down and watching Netflix or Prime or whatever, then you're going to be lost. Time is gone. Let's not waste our time. I appreciate y'all joining us. I hope you gain a lot of wisdom from all of our topics that we discussed, and I highly recommend watching the previous video on the narratives that you tell yourselves, because it is so vital. If we don't understand how we communicate with ourselves, we'll never understand how to communicate with everyone else. And we will never discover what path to happiness really looks like, and how to get on it, and how to stay on it, and how to get and maintain the lifestyle that we want, which is love, happiness, financial security, food security, and love security. With that, come out and see us every Sunday if you're in the local area. Sundays at 1:30. And at the first Sunday of every month, we have a special event out here. The next one is in March, and it will be a game day full of billiards and cornhole and ping pong and tennis and basketball. Just a whole bunch of fun fellowship where we can get to know each other and just have a good time, understanding how to better communicate so we can communicate ultimately to the source, God, infinite intelligence, and to ourselves to navigate this world better. Thanks for joining me.